What unconventional thing keeps you alive? I'm not talking about your children or your dog. I'm asking for that one unconventional thing that you're scared to say for fear someone is going to cock their head to the side and question the why behind your answer. Is it the sound of the rain beating on the roof at night? Maybe it's the smell of a new book or the way the sun shines on the snow. Or maybe you're like me and 71.5 million households across the country who call their garden their second home. Interestingly enough, that equates to over 12 billion pounds of tomatoes alone being grown in backyard gardens, as 86% of backyard growers have a tomato plant, and each one can yield up to 20 pounds of fruit a season. Welcome to Gardening and Mental Health, a presentation by me, Amanda Kelly. If I haven't piqued your interest yet, do yourself a favor. Close your eyes and imagine this: the smell of soil, the fresh breeze of a new rain, the richness of the first tomato, or the smell of basil on your hands as you pick your herbs for a preservation harvest. All of these things, plus many more, are smells proven to be beneficial to one's mental health. You can open your eyes now. I personally have spent the last 5 springs tending to seedlings, the past 5 summers tending to plants, and the last 5 falls tending to the closing of my garden in preparation for the next year. I have successfully graduated from container gardening to earth gardening to a victory garden of small proportions. And with each new thing I learn and implement, I can feel the overwhelming surge of relief that comes with the shutdown of my everyday anxiety thanks to green care. On days that I feel overwhelmed, I can often be found breaking off a stem shoot so that I can smell the fragrance of what I have growing, breathing it deep and connecting with the earth on a level that only a gardener can truly do. Gardening as a holistic treatment is not something most would think about, but studies show green care, or therapy by exposure to plants and gardening, has beneficial effects on both mood and mental health. According to recent studies, viewing plants altered EEG recordings and reduced emotions such as fear, anger, sadness, and stress. Other physical reactions included a reduction in blood pressure, pulse rates, and muscle tension. Green care is such a popular topic of study, in fact, that we now know prison residents with a view of the countryside are less likely to utilize prison medical services than residents who have a view of the internal courtyard, or views of plants and trees from post-operative wards improve the mood of patients and reduce things such as surgical complications and the length of a patient's stay. Now, imagine if studies yield such dramatic results in prison residents and hospital patients. What happens to the brain of your average gardener who tends to their garden 5 hours a week? So, you might ask, how can one start the process of gardening? My best advice is to just start. You can buy a pack of seeds and starting soil if you'd like, or you can buy an already established plant and plant that sucker straight into the ground. Water it and watch it grow. Don't stress about how fast or slow it's growing. Just start slow as to not overwhelm yourself. Focus on healthy soil and keeping it in a healthy environment. Pay attention to your plants. Nurture it as you would your own. When it is thirsty, give them water. When it's cold, give them light. Once you have the basics down, you can grow almost anything you desire with the same simple steps. Now, let's say you have the basics down already. Maybe you have grown a tomato plant or are well versed in flowers and want to learn more about fruits and vegetables. You can easily grow in containers, a raised bed, or a garden bed. Containers and raised beds have the same benefits, such as being portable in the event of a move, taking up less space, being raised higher as to not have the gardener leaning or bending as often. There are cons to these methods, though, such as a lack of beneficial bugs like worms and the tendency for contained plants to dry out faster than their counterparts planted in the earth soil. The possibilities are endless for container gardens. If you want to start on a budget, you can use leftover totes, baby pools, literally anything that can hold something will be able to hold a plant. I personally made my first set of raised beds out of an old shutter. Years later, I used the drawers of an old dresser to start my flower garden. There are Facebook communities dedicated towards creative ways to garden, and even after 5 years of being in the community, I still find myself baffled at the awesome ways people think to grow things. There is no right or wrong, just follow your heart and have fun. I want to show you a slide on a couple of fun facts about gardening that may interest the average adult to start dabbling in the hobby. Green beans. They're the most profitable thing to grow because they have a 507% return on investment. A 100 to 200 square foot garden space is enough to feed one person year-round. And popular fruits like apples, pears, peaches, and cherries are part of the rose family. Now, in our great country of America, we hold the title for the number 3 country of population versus garden. That number has skyrocketed numerous times over the decades, but the two most notable ones are during the COVID-19 lockdown and during World War II. During both of these times, our nation was rocked with shortages and uncertain times in our food supply chain. It was during World War II that the term victory garden was coined, meaning gardens so large that it can be shared with others in the community. Imagine having so many tomatoes or cucumbers, maybe ears of corn, that you can pass them out to neighbors who are without food. Imagine what we could do as a society if we started gardening together. But more importantly, imagine the effect it would have on our mental health as a whole country. Now, here's the kicker. Not only is the growing aspect of things a great hobby, but there are numerous side hobbies that can be picked up along the way. You can spend your time learning how to grow according to the square foot method, aka blocking out your garden space to maximize growing potential, which is kind of like Sudoku. You can spend time familiarizing yourself with companion plants, such as tomatoes and carrots, so you can use their friendship to your advantage. Or you can take up beekeeping, so there's always a host of friendly pests to pollinate what you grow. You could also learn about the, I'm sorry for my pronunciation, hugelkultur method, and spend your winter and early spring days collecting items that will be buried under your soil, creating a nutrient-rich raised bed made out of natural things like logs and leaves. Personally, for me, the fun started when I moved from container gardening to earth gardening because I started learning the science behind the process. Soil pH, the amount of water each individual plant needs, the amount of sun a crop needs for a yield, how to can and to preserve the extra food that I can't pawn off on my family friends. Here's a slide showing you all the fun things that I have grown in the past couple of years, including snap peas, herbs like basil, oregano, thyme, sage, rosemary, cilantro, and parsley, blueberries, peppers, including banana and sweet, tomatoes, and cucumbers. We've also grown sweet corn, strawberries, asparagus, apples, squash, zucchini, watermelon, and broccoli. I'd like to end this informative lecture with a couple of images of my past gardens. Take a few seconds to view them and pay attention to how they make you feel. If the images give you a sense of dread or anxiety, don't yield to my advice. But if viewing these images gives you a sense of indifference or calm, I urge you to pick up a pack of seeds, plant them in some soil, and try your hand at growing green things. As always, I'm here to talk if you'd like advice on the topic, but regardless of whether you pick up this popular and beneficial hobby, remember to take deep breaths the next time you're outside in the sun, take some seconds to appreciate all this moment has to offer us, and as always, appreciate the green around you. Thanks for joining me, friends. Have a great day.